Hey, I'm Chris Ralph, the professional prospector, and I'm out here today in an old gold mine in Northern California. Checking out, there's some bedrock here in front of me, looking for gold with Garrett's new Axiom metal detector. I'm going to do 3 videos on this. I'm going to do this one, which is going to be an introductory video, and then I'm going to do a couple of videos using it in the field. Now, I really like this detector. It's got a lot of real good strong points, one of which is it has an amazing ability to see pretty small gold while ignoring hot rocks. I would have said that the detector on the market with the best ability to ignore hot rocks would have been the SDC 2300 by Minelab, but I would say that this detector actually beats that for ability to go over hot rocks. And I've tested the 2 of them against some pretty nasty hot rocks that I've found in the field over the years, and the Garrett beat it. So it's really good. Now, one of the things that the SDC still has an advantage over, on the smallest and tiniest gold, the SDC probably does a little bit better, but the Axiom will punch deeper on a little bit larger bits of gold. So we'll talk about these detectors and how they work, and the fact that seeing the smallest, tiniest gold isn't necessarily the same as seeing the deepest, larger gold. And in fact, in detector design, those 2 are kind of different design goals. If you're trying to get the smallest, you're kind of giving up the deepest. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But what I'm going to do in this video is to talk about the features of this, the Axiom, what accessories are available for it, how you can use it, you know, just the general nature of the detector, the design and that sort of thing. And then I will get into the using in the field with tips and techniques and that kind of stuff in the future videos. But I'm going to start with this one. And of course, I'll do more videos in the future with this detector, but I'm going to start in the near future with doing 3. One, an introduction, which is this video, and then 2 more coming out fairly soon that will be a kind of using it in the field. You'll see me dig targets stuff. I'm not going to dig targets. And in fact, today we're going to actually go back to the office and with the whiteboard and get into, like I say, the points and information about this detector and what you need to know if you want to think about potentially buying one. So anyway, let's go back to the office and we'll dig into the details there. All right, so we're back at the library. We're back in my office, and we're going to talk some about Garrett's new Axiom metal detector. Now, the first thing you guys need to know is that it's a pulse induction detector. Generally speaking, when I go out and go prospecting, I use VLFs, I use pulse induction machines, but I'll be honest with you, I use my pulse induction machines more than I use my VLFs. And most serious prospecting oriented metal detector operators, guys that are out prospecting with a metal detector, are going to be guys that want to be using a pulse induction machine. So let me tell you a little bit about pulse induction. Basically how it works is the metal detector will put out a pulse of energy into the ground, then switch off, and then look for a signal. So there's literally 3 parts to the cycle. Pulse energy into the ground, that activates the target if there's a target there, and then it switches off and waits just a real short amount of time, and then looks for the response of the target. If there's a target in the ground, it will be reflecting the energy that was put out in the pulse. It'll be electromagnetic energy, and it'll be sending electromagnetic energy back up to the coil. That's how a pulse induction machine works. And the big advantage of a pulse induction machine is that it allows the machine to ignore hot rocks and mineralized ground much better than any VLF. Pulse induction machines, if you've got bad ground, with a lot of hot rocks, a lot of mineralized soil, you try and go out there with a VLF, you're just going to have a lot of headaches. And your machine's going to be going beep, 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 beep. All the, every swing is just, you're going to get hot rock after. I've done that with a VLF. And there's certain things you can do, but it means reducing your sensitivity a lot. Pulse induction machines, however, because they have that brief switch off period, the very brief period allows the mineralization in non-metallic minerals like magnetite and other iron minerals in the soil. It allows their energy to decay away. It decays away real quickly, whereas a metallic target, it won't decay so fast. So that's how a pulse induction machine works, and this machine really is made for prospecting for gold. Now, one of the things about Garrett is, they actually were one of the first metal detector companies to come out with a gold-oriented metal detector. It was a VLF, but back in the day when that first came out, hey, it was cutting edge. It was new. People were using coin machines to hunt for gold and, not having that great of luck with it. And so when Garrett came out with this gold-oriented, gold designed for Nuggets metal detector, man, people all over the world had a lot of success with it. But strangely enough, Garrett kind of said, hey, we're going to focus on coin and relic machines for a while. And they never really got back to the gold end of things. And for a long, long time, that one machine, which was cutting edge when it came out, was their big answer to nugget detecting. And other companies made all kinds of nugget detectors, and the technology advanced, and Garrett still had that same old machine that they'd come out with long ago. They're making a change. Garrett has decided to jump back into gold prospecting, feet first, full bore, gung-ho, going at it. And they have a machine, the 24K, that they acquired through their acquisition of White's metal detector. And now they're coming out with this new Axiom, a pulse induction machine that's really made for finding nuggets. And I've had it out in the field, and I really like it. Found some nice gold with it. It's an excellent detector. And as I said in the intro, I'm going to do 3 videos right up pretty quick, and then more just as time permits and as time goes on. But initially I'm going to do this one, which is an introduction to the Axiom, and then I'm going to do 2 Axiom in the field videos where I dig targets and find gold and that kind of stuff. Well, here's the Axiom. It's gray, and so it's kind of subtle and done. It's good. I like it, and it's got a lot of really great features that I mentioned in the initial part of this video, and I'm going to kind of go over some of those. One of those that's really cool is it's got USB charging. As far as I know, this is the only detector that charges with a USB. Now, there may be others that I don't know about, but that's okay. I don't know every metal detector. But this one charges using a USB-C type, which is the same plug that I have on my Android cell phone. So it's very cool that it uses a USB and USB-C, which is a very common type of a USB port. It comes with wireless headphones. Let me show you. These are the Garrett, they called Z-Link, but it's a wireless headphone system. I like wireless headphones because all too often I'm going through the brush and you got a headphone, big old cable that connects to the metal detector and gets caught in a bush. I've broken headphones doing that, going through yank, as the cable gets caught on a bush or something. But it also has a 1/4-inch jack for regular type headphones. You don't want to go with wireless, or maybe your wireless lost its charge or forgot to charge it or something else. You can just plug in with a regular set of headphones, and no problem. I've also used it that way. It has a ground balance window, and I kind of mentioned in the first part of this video that it has a great resistance to hot rocks. Honestly, I'm thinking, in my personal opinion, is that this detector has the best resistance to hot rock mineralization in the ground that's currently, well, that's going to be available on the market. We'll talk more about currently in a minute. But it has a feature called ground balance window, where it's able to ground balance over a range. Instead of ground balancing to a point of mineralization, it ground balances over a range. Now, I will tell you that this particular detector that I've been using, it's actually a prototype. It's not a production model. At the time that I'm recording this video, there are no production models, which is why it's a prototype. There will be production models soon. We'll talk about in a second. But this does not have the ground balance window feature enabled on it. So I haven't been able to test that out, but in theory it sounds great. It has iron check. Now, using a DD coil, this has been available on a lot of PIs over the years, that you could use a DD coil and try and check whether your target was iron. And the point of it is, basically, Garrett has adjusted this detector so that it's as least likely as possible to ignore a nugget. I actually have seen other manufacturers' detectors. One time when I went to Alaska, one of the guys with me had then the top of the line mine lab, and he was using the discrimination feature with a double D coil, and or at least he wanted to use it, but he went back to camp and tested some quartz specimens with the iron discrimination feature, and all of the quartz specimens indicated iron. And they were, like, some of them were multi-ounces of gold. So one of the things about this is that you got to use the iron feature. I think this one is going to be better than the one from, and this was 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, the story that I told you. And so I think this is better. I think that it will do a better job, but there's going to be a lot of small bits of iron that will not indicate iron, and you'll end up digging them, just because the design is trying to be conservative. Design engineers trying to be conservative and make sure that you don't miss any gold. Because if you are too aggressive with your iron discrimination, then what happens is it's not you may miss gold. You may see something and detector tell you it's iron and it's not. It's gold. So one of the things I do want to say about this is this discrimination feature is not as good as any good VLF, like a well-designed modern VLF. VLFs have much better discrimination than pulse induction machines. It's just a matter of the physics of the difference between pulse induction and VLF induction balance type machines. So, but I think that still, I think it's going to be a great feature. It has an adjustment for EMI. One of the things about pulse induction machines is they tend to be very sensitive to electromagnetic signals. I had a friend who had a PI. He bought it new. He took it out to a field. He was actually staying in a campground. He turned it on in the campground, and the machine just went. It made all kinds of weird noise, and he said, "My machine, it's broken." And I told him, "No, there's power lines all over here." This was a campground in a town, and so it was getting all kinds of electromagnetic interference. So you have to be sensitive about that. If you're going to test this machine, you're going to try it, don't turn it on in your house. You're going to be surprised at how much electromagnetic signal is coming out of the plugs and the wires and the walls and your whole house. So it has EMI adjustment. It has a great visual menu. I can show that here. Yeah, it's a visual menu with keys that you can select, and it's easy to see. There's another manufacturer that makes metal detectors, and they put the the thing behind your elbow so that it's virtually impossible to see it when you're actually running the detector, whereas this one you can easily see the detector in whatever settings you're operating in. It has a salt mode. In case you're working, there are some salty areas here in Nevada. There's plenty of them in Australia, and having a salt mode I think is good. You could use it on beaches too. It also has a programmable update, so it's set up with the USB and everything else that you can actually plug this thing in and update the programming. So if Garrett comes out with some future update of how the machine is going to work, you'll be able to, download that program and then, get into whatever updates that you need to and bring your detector up to snuff. It has a bunch of accessory coils. One of the things that's really great about this machine, it has a number of accessory coils that are going to be available from day one. Some other metal detector companies, they'll say, yeah, we're going to do accessory coils. We'll get around to them one of these days. But Garrett's going to have these available. This particular one is an 11 by 7. There we go. Get it to stand up like that. And then they also have a couple of bigger coils. This is the smaller one, 11 inches long by 7 inches wide. They have a medium size, which is a 13 by 11. And then they have a big size. See, there's the small, big, medium. 3 different size coils, and all 3 of these will be available in both the mono configuration and a double D configuration. The double D is what you need to be able to use the iron check discrimination. But mono design coils tend to go a little deeper, punch a little deeper on the nuggets. So I think the accessory coils options is really good. Now, I mentioned about this is a prototype. That's pretty much, at least as I'm filming this, all that's in existence. Right now, it's a pre-order status. It's almost available. It should be available shortly. I looked on Calico's webpage, and they were asking $39.95, $3,995 as a pre-order. Now, I can't foretell the future any better than you can, but my rational guess is that after the initial first batch or two has come and been sold, that the price will come down some, and you should be able to negotiate a better price with your metal detector dealer. And but because it's brand new, they're asking the maximum retail for it, which that's normal. And so anyway, $39.95 is what it's going for. It may be available in 6 months to a year. Now, this is my guess, not, you might be able to get it for like $3,500, something like that. Again, pulse induction machines are not cheap. I'm not going to stand here and tell you, hey, it's a cheap metal detector. No, this is not a cheap metal detector. It's a very powerful metal detector. It's an excellent metal detector. It has a lot of good features. It's lightweight. One of the things about it is that it's very lightweight. I like it. And that's part and due to the lithium batteries that you charge with the USB that are in the body here under your elbow. And just that the batteries are comparatively light. And it also lasts for a long time. The charge on this, it takes a while to charge it up because the batteries take a lot of amperage in them to fully charge. And I think you can get a full 2 days, something, maybe 18 or 20 hours of operation on a single charge, which is pretty impressive. And then because it's USB, you can plug a USB thing into your car or attach it to a battery, and it's easy to charge up. So no problem there. Like I say, lightweight, very powerful, an excellent detector. I know that I will be using it in the field, and it's going to be an important tool for me in finding gold. Also, if there's any other information you want to know about the Axiom that maybe I haven't covered in this video, then please, by all means, put a comment in the thing. I answer all my comments. Like most YouTube creators, yeah, 98% of them, 99 and 3/4%, you know, maybe they'll answer 1 or 2 comments, but that'll be it. I answer 100% of my comments. Now, you know, it may not be a 10-page response. It's probably not going to be. But I will try and answer your questions as best as I possibly can. And so do ask if you have any questions that I haven't covered in my discussion of the Axiom. Now, if you want to increase your skills and learn more about finding gold and become a better prospector, I wrote a book about finding gold and what you need to know, and I called it Fistful of Gold. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my book right now. So let me tell you a little bit more about my book. It's called Fistful of Gold, and I wrote it because I want you to be able to go out and find for yourself fistful of gold. And you can see that it's an encyclopedia with all kinds of information, pictures, and that sort of thing. It's not in color, but color would have cost me a lot more to have printed, and so the book would have cost a lot more. It's for sale on Amazon, and you can pick it up. I'll put a link in the description below. I also serve as the editor for a prospecting magazine. It's ICMJ's Prospecting and Mining Journal. And honestly, you should check that out. We got stories and information, legal stuff, everything you know to increase your skills as a prospector. I write articles in this every month, and a lot of other very experienced prospectors contribute to the magazine as well. So check the magazine out. Also, I have a website, and the website is at NevadaOutbackGems.com. I'll put a link for it in the description below, but there's gobs of information there that you will find useful in your prospecting efforts. Finally, I want to say that I really appreciate your comments and thoughts, and even positive criticism. Don't come on there and just toss out insults, because I'll just delete your comments. But if you've got helpful things to say and questions to ask, do write and put those in the comments, because I answer my comments to people, and you'll hear from me in responding to you. So if you've enjoyed this video and you like what you see and you're interested in finding out more, well then sign up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so they'll let you know when I post new videos. And like it and share it if again you see stuff that you really are excited about. And I'll be coming out with lots more new videos, and so we'll see you again real soon.